Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Pixel and welcome to the Pixel Theory Guide to Aggressive Sniping in Battlefield 5. In this video we'll take a look at what's the most effective loadout, how to put said loadout to good use, and even go over a few tips and tricks that are sprinkled on top for good measure. So let's get right to it.
Disclaimer, aggressive sniping in Battlefield 5 is pretty much the worst thing you could ever consider doing. As a result, this guide should only be followed by players that are looking to collect style points, quickly finish assignments, or frustrate the hell out of the squad mates. Please note that Pixel and the Pixel Theory YouTube channel takes no responsibility for any negative impact that following this guide may have on your account's kill death ratio. Thank you.
Okay, so let's get this loadout sorted. The combat role I would recommend that you go with is the Pathfinder, as that can, if you are lucky, allow you to get around the battlefield a little bit easier, by deploying on all the spawn beacons placed by your team. And you also play as a Pathfinder in Mass Effect Andromeda, which is one of the most criminally underrated games ever. Don't judge me. For our primary weapon, we will be using the Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark I, equipped with the specializations Quick Aim, Custom Stock, Lighten Stock, and Variable Zeroing. That is a hard word to say. Though you could switch out the ability to zero your weapon for the bayonet charge, I just found that running at people with a pointy stick was never really a good idea. The reasoning behind the Lee Enfield is simply the fire rate and the fact that it holds 10 rounds. Everything else about the weapon pretty much sucks. Oh, and we have a 3x scope attached as well. For the sidearm, I recommend taking the revolver, partly for the one-shot headshots up close, and partly for the style points. Actually, mostly for the style points, but aggressive sniping is generally a stupid thing to do anyway, so style is all we've really got to work with here. Anyway, for melee, pick whatever takes your fancy. Moving on to the equipment, we'll be using the throwing knives for the quick silent kills, the spotting scope because, well, we haven't really got a better option, and finally the trusty old spawn beacon so we can quickly get back into the action after all of our inevitable deaths. And there we go, loadout completed. So let's see how we can put this loadout to best use. Oh, this is gonna be fun. As this is a guide to aggressive sniping, we are obviously looking to snipe aggressively. Which, to be honest, is a fair bit harder than what you would expect, since in Battlefield 5 the only way to assure a one-shot kill is a headshot. That combined with a tweak time to death means you really don't get to make mistakes. Body shots will get you killed a lot. I suppose what I'm saying is, even if you do have the skill to pull off aggressive sniping, you would still be better off using almost any other setup. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still do well and even dominate a server, but by playing like this, you're basically playing hard mode for the sake of it. With that said, how on earth do we make this playstyle work? Well, mostly with brute force and confidence, but there are a few things you can do to increase your chances. But first, one question I am bound to get asked if I don't put it here is, what sensitivity and DPI do I use? So allow me to put this to bed once and for all. You do you. I mean, I'm serious. I know great players that play at super high sensitivity, and I know equally great players that play at crazy low sensitivities. The idea of a perfect sense is something that people have been chasing now for over 20 years at this point, and if it had been found, we would all know about it, trust me. Basically, all you need to worry about is that your sense is not too high to the point where you're unable to control it accurately, or too low to the point where tracking a moving target becomes too difficult.
But Pixel, Mr. Pro Gamer 69 said that this is the best sense to use. But Pixel, I want to know what sense you use. You know more than what you're letting on.
Tweak your sense and DPI until it's somewhere between the 10 and 40 centimeter 360 mark and you'll do fine.
But Pixel!
What?
Never mind. Thank you.
Right, with that out of the way, let's look at some real tips, such as quick scoping. Now obviously this just means to scope in quickly and shoot, but due to the way that Battlefield 5 handles scoping in, you don't want to be turning your mouse while you scope, otherwise it's going to feel like you're dragging your crosshair through a mountain of mud. This means you either want to scope in fully first and then flick towards your enemy, or adjust your aim first and then scope in and shoot. At first this can feel kinda strange, but it's not too bad once you get used to it. The one thing you want to stop yourself from doing is staying scoped in for too long. Not only does this make you a very easy target, but the scope's glint is also going to alert the enemies to your position, so try to only scope in when you know you're planning to take a shot. And you should be taking a lot of them, because every shot you don't take is basically the exact same thing as a shot missed. It's actually surprising at how many shots you will actually hit, providing that you play with confidence and take the opportunities that you are gifted. It's also important to understand this loadout's biggest weakness, and that is around the 5 to 15 meter range, where you need to rely purely on your quickscope skills, as your revolver and knives at this range are pretty much useless. You would most likely deliver more damage by sending your enemies nasty tweets. So when travelling around the map, try and avoid taking routes that could result in you face checking enemies at these ranges. Instead, try and flank around the long way or slowly push the enemy back by dinging heads to create some space for you and your team. The biggest advantage in this loadout is that, providing that you don't miss, you can take out a big chunk of an enemy force quickly and efficiently. Though it's worth saying it is easier said than done, but it is certainly possible. Now let's say you manage to pull off the world's best flank, like a purely beautiful, you get into position, yeah, it's a beautiful flank. How do you not waste it? Well, you can start off by not giving away your position too early. By getting up close and personal, you are able to take advantage of the throwing knives, which are a one-shot kill up close, as well as being nice and silent. Plus you also get double style points, so it's a no-brainer. This also happens to be the range where the revolver also shines. A well-placed headshot will put players down with ease, and since it's fairly accurate from hipfire, it's much more reliable than your other options at this close of a range, especially when it comes down to facing multiple opponents at once. When it comes to making good use of your spawn beacon gadget, I simply recommend that you try and place it somewhere around the halfway point between two objectives, or just outside of an objective you are expecting to be taken by the enemy team in the near future. Not just because this allows you to start capping the point back again, but also it means you get to spawn in behind them, you know, the nice flanks we were talking about. Like I mentioned earlier, this whole loadout is really just a little bit of fun, and it's certainly not a particularly smart way to play. It's too easy to end up falling back onto a more passive playstyle, and that could very well boost your KD a bit, but it's not like you're going to end up actually doing anything that could be considered like, you know, PTFO, playing the objective. This playstyle is for them players that are looking to look death straight in the eyes and say, "Not today, son. Not today." But with that said, it is actually all I've got for today, so thank you so much for watching. Please leave any feedback or questions in the comment section below, and also if you could kindly slap that subscribe button and give my little bell a ring, I would be incredibly grateful. If you like this video or it helped you out, please consider leaving us a big thumbs up as well. By the way, you have no idea how big the smile is on my face right now. This is the channel's first upload, and it's been a long time coming. I am looking forward to getting content uploaded on a regular basis, and I hope to see all of your faces in future again. So once again, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and until next time, I will catch you later. Bye bye. Yes. Fucking did it. Yes.